Greetings. My name is Annette Lara, and this is my professional portfolio for the EHRD graduate program at Texas A&M. Now, as my journey with Texas A&M and this program reaches its end, I can only say that I'm very grateful for all the opportunities and all the knowledge I acquired through this program and the amazing instructors. This portfolio will demonstrate how I grew from my first semester in the program till this point. You're going to see some of my best work, and I like to present all this work with a description of why and how it is relevant to EHRD. Now, another thing that you will notice is that my portfolio is basically user-friendly, and what I want to do is for someone who is not very aware or not very knowledgeable of what human resource development is, I want them to be able to go to the website, get a basic knowledge, and then keep looking into what makes human resource development important. And then once I give that introduction, then they can see projects, and then they can feel more comfortable, and then they can reach out to me if they need any help for my services. Now, one thing that you will notice from this portfolio is that I try to make, like I mentioned, I try to make it very user-friendly. So to do so, I work really hard on the image. I began taking classes in Photoshop and looking at tutorials and practicing till I was able to come up with my own logos. So one thing that you will notice is that the logo is an original logo. I designed it, I created it, and the purpose for me was that basically if I'm going to do something, I might as well do it well, so that can represent me in the future. So hopefully this logo will stick, and I'm really proud of it. So if you go to the home page, that's the first thing you'll notice, the logo. As I mentioned before, it was my own creation. Now, one thing that I really liked about the EHRD program is that there's many different ways to see human resource development, and I think I identify as someone who likes innovation, as someone who likes to modernize, yet I also like to learn from the past, which I was able to gain this insight throughout the program when I had classmates that were older than me, that there was an age gap, and even when they were from different nationalities, that just made the program a lot better, and it allowed me to see with their eyes. So it allowed me to grow personally and professionally. Back to the home page. So you see the logo, you see the title, Innovative HRD Consultant, and then you're gonna see three little logos or three little icons focusing on like each of the branches from human resources development. So I also developed those icons, the TND, OD, and CND. First, you're going to see TND, Training and Development, with a very brief explanation of what training and development is. As I mentioned before, I want to make things very simple, just in case of someone who's not aware of what human resources is. That way they can get an idea of what it is, and then maybe they'll realize, like, hey, you know what, my company actually needs that. Let me try to focus on this. Or you never know, maybe they like what they're seeing and they wanna become part of human resource development, which will lead them perhaps to pursue a new career. So the first one is TND. The second one is OND, again, organizational development, with a very brief description. And then we have, as for number 3, career development. Again, a very brief description, just so the person who is not very aware of what human resources development is and what it entitles, then at least they can get an idea this way. Right below, you see specializing in training and development. Again, I also worked on that logo and that icon, and again, I give a brief description of why I specialize in training and development. Now, the main reason is because it was one of the classes that I liked the most in the program. All the programs were very fulfilling, all the programs were very knowledgeable, but something about this class just caught my attention, and it made me realize that this is perhaps what I want to pursue in my career. So I really want to do a lot of training and development, because I know that with effective training and development, you get to help an individual pursue their goals and reach their goals based on the qualities and competencies they already have, because you're helping them develop them so they can reach their goals. Hence, that's why I believe that specializing in training and development is my passion, And you will notice that for the projects that I worked on for this program, there's a very important aspect of training and development. So right below, you're going to see an image, an image that represents people who are working towards a goal. And that's pretty much the vision that I have for human resource development. Right below, there's going to be a very brief description, well, not so brief description of the program and very remarkable experiences and what really shaped my enrollment in the program. I had great opportunities just by being able to learn from these professors, from amazing professors. I really learned and was able to not only get acquainted, but realize that my relationship with these professors is not going to end once I graduate from the program, but they're going to continue becoming my mentors because I know that the knowledge they have and the experience is just unique, and I believe it doesn't end with books or classes. So after that, you just see a very brief quote by C. Powell. There are no secrets to success. It is a result of preparation, hard work, and learning from failure. Now, that quote basically describes my whole experience with the program. Since my day one, I just wanted to succeed. I wanted to do good. I was working really hard to do so. And the description, you will see that I had a situation that made me shake a little bit, perhaps, that made me think that maybe my journey was not going to be as easy. But just as the quote mentions, success, there's no secret recipe for success. You have to prepare, you have to work hard, and then if you fail, well, you will learn from that failure, which happened to me, which happened in one of my programs. And my professor, Dr. Byerlin, he allowed me to see that even through failure we can learn. And that experience, that project that resulted in failure, became an opportunity. It became a success in another way. So after enrolling in this program, I realized, failure, we learn from failure. So in reality, if just as long as you have the right mentality, you're never going to fail or you're never going to lose. It's always a win. You either win or you learn. Now, if we go to the second page where it says EHRD, you go to the top, you're going to see the little description. And then I also worked on that icon. And you're going to see how I present EHRD first. So one of the reasons I decided to use this particular PowerPoint is because even though it's very simple, I think it reaches the purpose. So my purpose was to be able to teach about human resource development to someone who's not familiar with the topic. And what better way to do this than with a metaphor? So I used a BLT metaphor, and I invite you to go over the presentation. You might have some laughs. I try to make it very simple, just so people can become more acquainted to a topic that is so broad as human resources. Now, a brief description is included with that presentation, so you can have an idea what you're gonna see. Then I try to introduce the importance of effective HRD practices, and I do this through several ways. First, I do research based from a research paper about employee engagement and why it is important. And the second one is through a case study showing why why HRD is important and its effects on employees and organizations. Not far, you start seeing how I divided topics, like for instance, organizational development, training and development, and career development. So for each topic, I added some papers or some presentations that were relevant to the topic, so I can show the people who see my website what type of work I do with OD, CD, and TND. Also, brief descriptions are going to be presented for each project. So for the OD tools, it tells you about that this is a presentation, a PowerPoint presentation, and what it covers. The same way with the OD client evaluation. So it demonstrates what type of evaluation we do with organizational development. Then we have training and development, and I have a presentation and 2 papers just showing basically what training and development is. Now, one of the papers is a case study. That way the audience can see oh, okay, this is training and development. And then I have a PowerPoint presentation and another Word document pretty much showing how a project in training and development is created. Finally, we have career development, and again, it has a very brief description, and then I added a career development job 8. That way people can know, like, oh, okay, this is the way you can develop a career. And also, I added one of my work for my career and development class that focuses on career and development in an international context. Now, I believe this is incredibly important, especially nowadays, because we are in a global and multinational corporations are pretty much getting closer and closer with other nations, and it's just, the world is just evolving, and there's just so much communication between countries that I think that there's no other topic more relevant in the moment. Now, right next to HRD, if you go to the top, you're going to see a link that says projects. Now, these projects are client projects that I did throughout the program. You're going to be able to see, if you go back to HRD, that I also have other client projects. However, I believe that these ones were more thorough. These were more extensive. And basically, my focus with client projects was organizational evaluations. So the first one was in an organization that I worked at, Texas A&M International University, and I worked as a mentor in their advising and mentoring program. This evaluation basically focused on their strategy and trying to see how close the organization was actually following their goal, and if their customers were happy with their performance, and then we made suggestions on what can be done in order to improve the performance. I also participated in an evaluation for the Office of Student Conduct and Community Engagement, which is my current position. It's also in Texas A&M International University, and for this evaluation, we basically focus on their strategy and we evaluate if the organization is working closely towards that strategy, or if they need to restructure again in order to meet the goals based on their strategy. Below, you're going to see some research papers. Now, as part of my elective, I decided to take the conflict management and mediation class, and it was a very, very insightful course. I learned about conflict management, of course, mediation, and its importance in life, and I was able to realize how developing those skills can be very effective and are very necessary for human resources development. Right below, we have, I also took another elective for organizational leadership, and this course also allowed me to see the importance of leaders in organizations and how they can influence effective functioning and how they can lead other employees and they can ensure success in an organization. You're going to see 2 papers that I worked with that I did for this class. Finally, you have adult learning. Now, this course was part of my program. However, it really allowed me to see how throughout the different generations we learn in different ways. So this is very necessary for human resources development, because if you go to in today's workplace, you're going to have someone who's 50 years old, and at the same time you're going to have someone who's 20 years old. So you have to be able to understand how they learn and have to cater to their needs. Now, finally, you're going to see 2 final links. The first one is about, and that's a little bit about me, my enrollment in the program, my life, where I got my bachelor's, where I got my master's, and of course, my certification as a mediator. And last but not least, we have the contact link. Now, this is for any prospective clients or just people who want to know more about human resource development. I believe that getting in contact with people and starting communication is essential for success. Even if they're not gonna do a project with you, at least by having conversations with someone, you can develop and you can continue working toward your goals so you can become better. Now, I hope you like this project. I hope you like the portfolio. I definitely invested a lot of time. I was able to develop new skills while working on this portfolio. But other than that, I think that I invested so much in this portfolio just because the program really meant a lot to me. I really believe that I became a different person and that I started seeing people as the most valuable source of value in the world, and how as human resources development professionals we have not only the ability but the responsibility to help others become the best of their ability and work towards effectiveness in our organizations and in any organization that we're working in. I really appreciate all the help of the instructors. I really appreciate every person that I was able to get in touch with for this program, and I hope you like my portfolio, and please, I accept any feedback. In order to improve, there's always going to be room for feedback. Thank you so much.